Okay, good morning. Today we are going to take class on NTA, Net and JRF, and the subject which we are going to cover today is paper 1, teaching aptitude. Okay, so first of all we are going to look at the characteristics of effective teaching practices. Okay, the characteristics of effective teaching practices. Okay, first we are going to look at the maxims of teaching. Okay, so what is a maxim? Maxim is basically means it's a rule which has evolved according to time. Okay, that's called a maxim. So basically maxims are rules of teaching. So they are not basic rules, they are rules which has evolved over the period of time. Okay, that is a maxim. Okay, so there are different maxims of teaching which we are going to look. Okay, teaching has its own set of maxims or rules. Okay, so which we are going to be discussing below. So the first maxim or the first rule in teaching is, from simple to complex. A teacher should try to impart concepts or things which are simple. Then he or she should try to give knowledge about complex subjects. Okay, then only teaching will be more effective. So the first point is from simple to complex. Okay, then the next point is from known to unknown. It is just an extension of the first point. A teacher should try to give examples of the known concepts. Then he or she should try to give examples or try to give concepts about the unknown subjects. Okay. For example, if a teacher is trying to explain about the concept of a black hole, so before explaining what is a black hole, a teacher should try to give examples of anything which you can find in the real world which is more relatable to black hole. Okay, so that's the second point. From simple to complex, the second point is from known to unknown. The third point is from seen to unseen. It's also an extension of the first and second point. Okay, these are all relatable points. The teacher has to give examples about the seen or visible objects to students, especially to students who belongs to primary or to kindergarten. So the last point is from concrete to abstract. Okay, so teachers should try to give examples from concrete objects, familiar objects. Concrete means familiar objects. Okay, which you can see or you can feel. He has to give examples on the concrete objects to study abstract objects. Okay, anything which is in outer space is abstract to us. Okay, if you are teaching about a galaxy, if you are teaching about other planets, first a teacher has to explain about our planet, or he or she has to give real examples, or he or she has to give the real pictures of our planet and how it looks, and relating to that he or she has to explain about other planets in the solar system. Okay, so these are the first four maxims of teaching. Okay, the next point is from particular to general. Okay, so the students should be presented with examples first, then the laws or the derivations should be presented to them. Okay, they should be given a particular example first, then the concept has to be clear to them. Okay, that is the fifth maxim on teaching. Okay, the next maxim is from whole to part. Okay, from whole to part. Okay, if you are teaching about trees, or if you are teaching about a plant, you have to first try to conceive or try to present about the whole tree first to the students. Then you have to explain about the branches, then you have to explain about the leaves or the flowers or the fruits in the trees. Okay, from whole to part. Okay, so that's the sixth maxim of teaching. The next point is from indefinite to definite. Okay, teacher should help to transform indefinite knowledge into a definite one and aim to clarify the doubts of students. Okay, so if something is undefined, teachers should give some definition to the particular topic. Okay, that is the seventh maxim. The eighth one or the next one is from psychological to logical. Okay, so during initial stages psychological order is more important, whereas for grown up learners logical order is emphasized more. So in initial stages as students, you have to give more psychological examples or psychological concepts. Then if students have attained a certain age, okay, let's say in a high school or a higher secondary, then you can teach more logical concepts to students. Okay, so these are the first 8 points of teach. So our next point is from analysis to synthesis. So what here it explains is, if a knowledge is to be imparted, first the knowledge has to be separated into meaningful parts. Then each part has to be communicated with or imparted to the students. And synthesis means connecting each parts and learning the subject as the whole. Okay. First your analysis means dividing a concept into different parts. Then synthesis means connecting each part and making a meaningful thought about a particular knowledge or a particular subject. So analytic synthetic method. Okay, so the next point here, our next point is follow nature. It means regulate the education of a pupil according to his nature. Okay, each students or each pupil are different in nature, so we have to regulate our education according to their nature. Okay, that is the 10th maxim on teaching. The next point is training of senses. Okay, the types of senses like sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch are gateways of knowledge. It is better if all of the maximum of these senses can be applied in teaching. Okay, while you are teaching, you have to encourage students to use their maximum senses to gain that knowledge. Okay, that's the 11th maxim on teaching. The 12th and the last one is encouragement to self-study. Okay, it's a Dalton's system based on self-study. So students should be encouraged to an extent for self-study. They have to study their concepts and they have to study using their own means. Okay, using their own researches. Okay, so these are the 12 maxims or rules of teaching. Okay, so the next topic which we are going to look at is micro teaching. Okay, so what is micro teaching? Micro teaching is a teacher training technique for learning teaching skills. Okay, micro teaching means it is a teacher training technique, okay, for learning teaching skills. So for a teacher to learn teaching skills, micro teaching is a training technique. Okay, it is not for pupils, it is for teachers. Okay, so the next point is micro teaching was invented in the mid 1960s at Stanford University by Dwight W. Allen. Okay, Dwight W. Allen of Stanford University invented micro teaching in 1960s and has subsequently been used to develop educators in all forms of education. Okay, micro teaching is a technique to develop educators or teachers. Okay, it is developed in 1960 and 1960s actually, and it was developed by Dwight W. Allen. Please note the name, Dwight W. Allen, and it is developed at Stanford University. Okay, to promote or to develop educators. Okay, the next point is it employs real teaching situation. Okay, for developing teaching skills and has to get deeper knowledge regarding art of teaching. Okay, a real teaching situation is given to teachers to develop their own teaching skills. Okay, for developing the art of teaching. The next point is this Stanford technique involves steps of plan, teach, observe, replan, reteach and reobserve. It's a 3-step process. The first step in the process is to plan. Before you teach, you have to plan your curriculum, you have to plan your materials, you have to plan the concept and what all teaching aids which you are going to use. You have to plan all those things. Then teach, which is the actual process of teaching. Then the last step is to observe. So the last step is to observe how our pupils or our students are behaving to our teaching. Then you have to replan the scenario and to reteach and to re-observe. So it is a never-ending process. Okay. So these are the first 4 points regarding micro teaching. The next point is most of the pre-service teacher education program widely use micro teaching. Okay, the pre-service teacher education program mostly use micro teaching, and it is proven method to attain gross improvement in the instructional experiences. Okay, so for a teacher's instructional experience, it has been widely used. Okay, so these are the first 5 points of micro teaching. Okay. So the last point regarding micro teaching is effective student teaching should be the prime quality of a teacher. Okay, as an innovative method of equipping teachers to be effective, skills and practices of micro teachings have been implemented. Okay, so in a direct student teaching scenario, micro teaching is one of the most effective ways for a teacher to get more skilled. Okay, so these are the main points of micro teaching. So the main things which you have to learn about is who invented micro teaching, in which time and in which university. Okay, and you have to know that it is a teacher training program. Okay, so these are the main points of micro teaching. So our next topic is effective teaching behavior. Okay, effective teaching behavior. So there are certain dimensions or elements which for effective teaching behavior which we are going to discuss. Okay, the following 4 dimensions have been identified for effective teaching behavior. There have been 4 dimensions which is considered to be in effective teaching behavior. Okay, so the first one is clarity. For effective teaching objectives, knowledge, individual differences, level of teaching, techniques of evaluation is important. So everything you should be imparting to students should be very clear. Okay, that's the first point in effective teaching behavior. The second point is variety. So there should not be a dullness or a fatigue in students while you are teaching. You should try to impart newness or new motivations, or you have to get more attention by variety in teaching. Okay, that's the second point. And the third point is task orientation. You should be giving various tasks relating to the curriculum or relating to the subject to your students. Okay, that's the third dimension. The fourth one is engagement in learning task. Okay, students should be engaged with our teaching. Okay, or you should get your students to be engaged with your curriculum. Okay, like giving them seminars, all those things, and they will be get engaged. Okay, so these are the 4 dimensions of effective teaching behavior. Okay.